We all know, the event of all events, quote unquote, happened this weekend. Total slaughter and everything. Before I even get into recap and all that, let me give a special shout out to Queen of the Ring for dropping a crazy battle this weekend. Just in case y'all didn't go see it yet, make sure you do. Official versus Couture, crazy battle. I remember when this card first got announced and we had Debo on here. I remember I was telling Debo and everybody else, out of everything on this card that I see, this looked like this is going to probably be battle of the night. Now, I don't know if it was battle of the night. A lot of people said it was. I know it's going to be hard to top that battle, so I'm interested to see how the other battles turned out, but that was definitely a crazy battle. Everybody should go check it out. Shout out to them once again. And, let's dive straight into it, because I know everybody wants to talk about this. Twitter's been lit up. I see YouTube blew up, all types of videos all over the place, everything else. Everybody's talking about it. The big event, Total Slaughter, went down Saturday. Let me say it was a really nice venue. It had the circle stage and everything. Kind of sort of towards the middle. You had people behind you and people up top, and then you had the front and everything else. And it was a different look. I'm going to get into all that a little bit later. But, the first battle comes up. We had Arsenal on, was it 2 weeks ago now? Or was it last week? We had Arsenal on, and Arsenal said he was going to show up at the event, and he had a battle locked in. He didn't want to give up who it was. Now we know it was Big T. I'm assuming because, I believe Disaster was supposed to originally battle Big T because I think he was going to battle for second place prize originally from the way, if you was paying attention to the show and everything else, you know exactly what I'm talking about. They was playing almost for second place or whatever, battling for almost second place. And, of course, whatever situation happened, Disaster didn't show up, so they needed a replacement, and they brought Arsenal in. And, whoo, Arsenal came in on – Arsenal did his thing. Let me say that. Arsenal – this is the second straight battle I've seen Arsenal win where he was just going crazy. And, yeah, Arsenal was going he was going ham up there. Big T had a solid first round. I thought he lost momentum as the battle went on. I don't know how much that has to do with how much time he actually had to prepare for Arsenal or whatever, But Arsenal had the same amount of time, so I can't really give him that much of a pass on that either. He didn't do horrible. It's just that Arsenal clearly outshined him this battle, in my personal opinion. Arsenal was on top of his game once again. Like when Arsenal is like this, like he was at this battle and against QP, he's tough to beat. He's going to be tough for anybody to beat. Like Arsenal was definitely on top of his shit there, had one of the best performances of the night, and caught a clear dub, in my opinion. Now, let's see. Then we had the next battle. Oh, boy, the next battle. We had T-Rex versus Daylight. Now, this was supposed to be for the winner of the show and everything. They both won each side of their brackets, and they were supposed to meet up, and this was the finals. Now, Rex pretty much was doing what Rex do. Rex was having some solid rounds. He wasn't really going crazy, but he had some solid rounds. All three of his rounds were solid. Now, it's no secret that Daylight comes here, and he's literally in a Spawn suit. Literally a Spawn suit, like straight from the Halloween store. Like Spawn, he was decked, that cape long than a motherfucker. It looked like a wedding gown almost. I was waiting for him to step and trip on his fucking self with that long fucker. But that's like straight, big ass cape, everything else straight spawned out. Now I didn't have a huge issue when I first saw this. Like I first seeing him in the Spawn outfit. I didn't have a huge issue because we all know how Daylight is. Not to mention he's a huge Spawn fan. I mean, for people that don't even know, that tattoo on his face is actually a Spawn tattoo. Like it's actually, the same type of design that's on the mask is on his face. So, he's a huge Spawn fan. His YouTube name, I think, is Spawn something of another. So, like, everybody knows how he is with the Spawn shit. So I was okay with it at first. I ain't really tripped too much because, like I said, Daylight was kind of really, like, not really going gone too crazy when this whole shit started, and I expected him to bend on it like this, and he waited till this time, of course, national TV, whatever the case may be, to, pull out his gimmick, so to speak. I'm okay with it at first. He had 2 solid rounds. You know what I'm saying? One of the rounds was debatable. The other round, I thought Rex clearly won. We get to the 3rd round, and Rex spits his shit. Once again, another solid round. Not too crazy, but, it wasn't whack either. It was solid. But it was beatable. Daylight could have actually won this battle. You know what I'm saying? Like, Rex left himself open to me for Daylight to come in and actually win this battle. And then Daylight does one of the top 5 weirdest fucking moments I've ever seen in the history of, fuck top 5, top 3. You know what? No, fuck that. Given the situation and everything else, this was, fuck all that this was the top weirdest moments I've ever seen in battle rap. This motherfucker, he spits 2 bars. Just in case y'all didn't see it, listen to me, people. 2 bars. Takes off his mask and proceeds to just strip down to his fucking drawers, screaming and hollering like he's Michael Jackson or something in the fucking video, just hollering, just screaming like he's in pain or something, like something hurt. And I'm like, I'm just looking at my screen wondering what the fuck am I looking? Then I realize this is Daylight, but even for Daylight, I'm wondering what the fuck am I looking at? I see Kate Slade and Rex. They automatically walked off the stage. I totally feel y'all motherfuckers. Like, yes. We here. I feel y'all. They wasn't even fitting for all that bullshit. Like, they wasn't even beat. They was like, I'm out. And he's just sitting there by himself in the middle of the stage in his drawers, screaming about Mr. Hanky, on some little paper cutout of Mr. Hanky, screaming for like 5 minutes. I bullshit you not. This shit seemed like this shit went on forever. I'm like, like 4 minutes into this shit, I'm saying to myself, he's still doing this shit. And the camera's just like, you could tell nobody knew what to do, nobody knew what to say. People mouths dropped. You know what I'm saying? Ebro, who's been a known hater of the whole culture, you know what I'm saying, is sitting up here like he's wondering what the fuck's going on. Like, this is what the fuck y'all motherfuckers going crazy about? He's like, come on, man, y'all motherfuckers talking all this battle rap, this, that, and third, and this is what the fuck is, like, this what y'all niggas about? Look, Daylight, my nigga, Daylight, I fucks with you. If you listening, I fucks with you. You know this. But come on, dog. Come on, son. You can't get up on here on the biggest stage that you could possibly be or you ever been on. Like, you got motherfuckers watching this shit who ain't never seen battle rap before, and them motherfuckers is wondering what the hell is on everybody who watches this shit mind. Like, everybody who watches this shit is retarded. That's what you got motherfuckers up here thinking, Daylight. Daylight, how dare you get up there and take that shit as a complete joke, son? Daylight, that was a complete joke. This is what you was going crazy about in those blogs, Daylight? Daylight, this is what you fought Disaster over, Daylight? You told Disaster, we gotta put hands up because I don't feel safe going to the city when this Total Slaughter event going down. I don't feel safe with this whole quote-unquote no-fly zone shit. Me and you gotta throw hands now, son. We gotta put hands and feet on each other. That's what you said up in the blog, Daylight. I heard that shit. I heard it, Daylight. I heard out your own mouth. This is what you was ready to fight your boy over? So you can get up there and do that, son? 2 rounds and then that? Son, you took that shit as a complete joke, son. You came on this show, on that show, in this blog, on that interview, on your own YouTube channel. You go everywhere saying, I take this shit serious when I need to take this shit serious. You tell everybody this shit, Daylight. You tell everybody this. I'm not making this shit up. You say this, Daylight. You say you only do this with the smaller MCs because nobody will watch these battles unless you do all this crazy shit. And by you doing all that crazy shit, you're bringing attention to the battle. But yet, you get up on here where everybody's watching. Motherfuckers who ain't even battle rap fans is watching you. And then, like I said, I was good with the Spawn shit. I wasn't even going to kill you over that, Daylight. I promise you I wasn't even going to kill you over that. Because I seen you do a lot worse. I wasn't going to kill you over that. But come on, man. That third round, son, stop that shit, dog. Stop. Everybody listening to this show right now, everybody listening to this, whatever, recap, whatever, y'all should all be real pissed off at Daylight for taking that shit as a joke the way he did. Like, son, that was a spit on the culture. That was a spit on this event. I'll be disgusted if I was Eminem. Like, this is like, come on. Anyway, I digress. But Daylight, come on, son. Come on. You got some explaining to do, son. You got some explaining to do, Daylight. You do. You do. I fucked with you, but, son, you disrespected the game with that one, son. You did. You did. I'm just going to leave it at that. All right, now, let's get on to the next battle. Oh, this battle. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we're going to have to talk about this battle right here. Oh, shit was all good just a week ago. Oh, my motherfucking God. Yes. Murda Mook versus Loaded Lux. The rematch. Yes, it happened. And there's a whole lot of Lux fans out there that wish this motherfucker never happened. There's a whole lot of Lux fans that wish this battle never happened. Let's just keep it a stack. Lux fans, y'all motherfuckers gave me a lot of shit over the course of time of me being on this show. Y'all know y'all have. I've been called all types of shit from Lux haters to all this other shit and everything else, not understanding complex bars, which really completely fucks me up because if you don't understand a Lux bar, you just ain't listening hard enough. Like, because he doesn't really spit anything crazily complex. He puts words together real good and real clever, like, but the bars itself aren't complex. Like, you get them first listen. Like, that maybe it's just me, but I do. But anyway, I digress. This shit happened, and yes, Lux comes out. Lux has, his first round was a Lux round. You know, once again, you know, put together some words pretty good, you know. It was his best round of the battle. Wasn't a great round, but it was definitely his best round of the battle, in my opinion. He's putting his words together, doing what he do. Okay. That's cool, Lux, So, Mook gets up there, and Mook just dives in and just starts killing him. I don't remember everything he was saying bar for bar, so I don't want to misquote anything about that. I'm sure you fans have seen this battle about 11 times. I'm sure y'all could probably tell me better than I can. But I know Mook starts going ham in the first round. Ham. And he immediately steals the crowd. The crowd's going crazy. Everybody's digging Mook shit. Mook turned around. He snatched his motherfucking he had a towel over his head, snatched the towel off his head, and he had the do-rag on. He was like, I'm back to the do-rag, Mook. Crowd went crazy. That's what they wanted to hear. That's what they wanted to see. Mook, for the most part, this is the best Mook I've seen in a long time. And you know what I'm saying? And yes, Mook was on top of his game, and he started off on fire in the first round. Second round, it seemed like, to me personally, seemed like Lux got a little rattled in that first round, because that second round, it wasn't the same as the first round. It seemed like his bars wasn't hitting as hard. He definitely didn't have the crowd all gassed up like he normally does. Normally, Lux, people go crazy if Lux just says any old thing. Lux is just say, hold up, let me get it together, and the crowd will go crazy. But it wasn't like that this time. You know, they actually was listening to what he had to say and waiting for some crazy bars to go crazy about, and they wasn't really getting those crazy bars. You know what I'm saying? Let's just call it what it is. Like, and then Mook turned around in the second round, and he still had the crowd going, and he was calling Lux out about how Lux was trying to hold up the event for more money and all types of other shit and this, that, and the third, and you know, and yeah, he was just pulling his card. He was just pulling his card, pulling Lux's card, and then Lux came back in the third round with this is the worst prop Lux ever pulled. And one thing I always usually give Lux credit for is he usually has good props. But he came out with the weakest prop. I don't know if his man fucked it up or something, because he said something about Mook's winter coat, and he went and pointed down, and he looked down, and the coat wasn't there. And then he went on spitting like 2 bars later. His man finally threw the coat. And then Lux looked down and was like, yeah, this coat right here. It was just weird and awkward. I was like, what the fuck are you talking? Where you getting at? Like, I didn't even understand. Mook had to tell me what the fuck he was talking about, because I was lost. Now, that did lose me. Because I didn't know where Lux was going with the whole coat thing. What is this? So Mook had to break it down and shit, and was like, oh, well, that's supposed to have been the coat I lost fighting or whatever. I'm like, oh, that's what that was about? Oh, okay, because he did a horrible job explaining that shit. Because I didn't understand what the fuck Lux was talking about at first. And then, but anyway, he pulled the keys out, this, that, and third. You know, they stopped Mook round short, which was crazy, because the whole time limit thing, I just didn't understand. The whole night they was cutting people off. I don't know why they all agreed to whatever time limit they agreed to, because it obviously wasn't long enough. You know what I'm saying? Like, the battles was long, but the battles was only long because of mic checks most of the time. I'm going to get into all that shit in a little bit. Let me get back to this battle. So, yeah, for the most part, Mook wins this shit. You know, the judges give it to him and everything else, and, you know, Mook wins this shit. I totally agreed. I don't even think this shit was close. Like, you know, like the Lux Hollow shit, like, you know, Lux had a real good round like he had a couple of good rounds there, so some Lux fans could try to argue that Hollow battle. They can't argue this one. This is an L, clearly. No debating. You can't even try to fix your mouth to argue this one. I love to hear somebody do that. I'm sure some Lux fans out there will, but yeah, they will be wrong. Then we got the main event. Oh, the main event. This is what everybody wanted to see. Everybody wanted to see this one since they heard about it. This is one of the things that made this motherfucking event jump from the rip when this shit got announced. Hollow Don versus Joe Budden. Let me say this. I'm just gonna break it down from the beginning. Hollow comes out in the first round, and he immediately just starts going ham on fucking Slaughterhouse, like as a whole. Like he's shitting on Eminem, he's shitting on Joe Budden, he's shitting on Crooked Eye, Joel T, everybody. Talking about he didn't get paid what he was promised. He was promised this much money and that much money. They didn't pay him. Told Rosenberg and all the motherfuckers to eat a dick and everything else. He just started going in on the motherfuckers. And then he starts going in on Joe. And, you know, he had some crazy shit going on. He had an R&B scheme up in there that was crazy. It's all jagged edges, and he got this 112 for Joe to see or some shit. That shit was crazy. He had a solid first round. My personal opinion, it was his best round of the battle, actually, in my personal opinion. And then Joe came out. Now, this is what everybody wanted to hear. Everybody wanted to hear what Joe had to say. So Joe comes out, and he immediately did what, you know, everybody kind of expected him to do. You know, he immediately starts big-timing Hollow, you know, talking about how, you know, everybody know me, nobody knows you. You know, I'm up here, got this deal, you never had a deal, you know, da-da-da-da-da, you know. Pretty much the same angle, you know, everybody would expect Joe to take. You know what I'm saying? You know, no big surprises there. You know, he did have a few lines up in there, you know, talk about some, I doubt him up, knock him down, that's a domino effect. I remember he said that in the first. That was a nice line. But his haymakers was almost like most MC setups. That's you know, as far as the active MCs now, like, you know, like he was, and let me say this too, Joey was going crazy over his own bars. I don't think I, yo, I don't think I ever seen somebody love their own bars that much on stage in my life. Nobody in that building loved Joe bars more than Joe Buttons loved his bars. I promise you. Like he was just like every other bar he was just stopping like, oh god damn, did y'all hear that? Like like every other. Yo, that shit was crazy. I was like, Joe feeling himself like a motherfucker, son. Pause. But, yeah. That shit was funny as hell to me. Anyway, you know, I gave that round to Hollow myself. I gave the first round to Hollow. I thought Joe had an okay first. I didn't think it was horrible. I thought it was okay. I didn't think it was better than Hollow's, but I thought it was okay. I didn't think it was good as he thought it was, but, yeah, I thought it was okay. Then Hollow came back in the second and said, he was just, what was he said? He was talking about, he had some angle about how pretty much M used Joe as a sacrificial lamb, and this is almost like a message saying, you know, M saying, you know, Joe, you free to go type shit and everything else. And then he started talking about Joe Buttons' beefs he had in the past with Raekwon and Ransom and a couple other cats or whatever, you know, and you know, I thought he had a solid second. I heard a couple people try to kill it. I thought it was a solid second. Then Joe came, and to me, Joe had his best round this round right here. Second round, Joe had his best round. He brought up the John the Don fight. He had a little Sleepy Hollow line. I could have sworn I heard at least one person use that on Hollow before, so that wasn't nothing crazy. He said you lost some. He said some shit about he lost to a dude named after a toilet. I thought that was really whack. I'm gonna keep it a buck. But then he bounced back after that, and he said a crazy line. He said something about the Street Fighter shit, and he said about how you know, you was all balled up in the corner on the ground, and it was shocking like Blanca or some shit from Street Fighter, whatever. However he said it, it was crazy. That was a nice line. And then he had some shit about your buck slow, so some shit about chain events or some shit like that. That was crazy. That was crazy. That was a crazy bar. I thought he had his best round in the second, and I actually edged him the second round. So I had the battle 1-1, believe it or not, going into the third. And then Hollow spit, and Hollow had some lines, some shit about I'm about to stop playing with these kids like a deadbeat dad or some shit like that. And in the middle of his third, I know he started getting booed. They started booing him in the middle of his third, and then he started freestyling. I forgot what he said, but he bounced back pretty good with his freestyle after they was booing him. And I can't remember the other stuff he was saying in the third, but his third was clearly his weakest round. Very beatable, to be honest with you. And so when Joe picks up the mic, I'm thinking Joe could actually fuck around and win this. And then Joe has his worst round of the battle. And he started off and he was struggling. He was reaching for certain punches that just was not connecting at all. The crowd got real bored with him, and the crowd started giving him the business. And this is what I wanted to see, because I wanted to see how he was going to handle that, because Joe not used to dealing with that. Joe used to going up on stage and everybody knowing his songs and singing along with him and everything else, and he ain't even got to put in a lot of work. This is a different type of animal right here. So, you know, how do you bounce back from that? You know what I'm saying? Like, and he pretty much got really frustrated, and he pretty much, you know, was like, you know, I'm going to wait till y'all stop. He said one line about he's intolerant, so he lacks toast or whatever. Like, we never heard that one before. But, you know, bar we've heard a billion times in other battles. Like, I'm sure y'all can vouch for that. He thought it was the craziest thing ever. But they started booing him, and he was like, God, y'all booing the hard shit. I'm like, nah, Joey, they booing the shit that they heard already before. They heard that before, Joey. They heard that before. That's why they booing. And he pretty much just dropped the mic and was like, I'm done. I do this. I don't need, pretty much trying to big time everybody. Like, you know, like, I'm Joe Buttons. Fuck y'all. I don't need this, and put the mic down. Like, I'm not spitting. So right then and there, that was a little bit disrespectful to the crowd, to the coach, and everything. Like, I know they giving you the business or whatever, but this is what motherfuckers do. You wasn't the only person who got booed that night. You know what I'm saying? Like, just because you big Joe Buttons, the reality TV star, don't try to big time everybody like you too good to get booed up on that stage. You know what I'm saying? Like, anybody can get it on that stage. Anybody can get it on that stage. And that don't exclude you. Like, so, for you to put down the mic and quit was a little bit corny in my eyes. And obviously I wasn't the only person who felt that way after, judging by the way people was talking at the end of the battle, talking about Ebro. I was happy Ebro called him on that and was, pretty much like, and made sure Royce acknowledged it too because, he didn't want to hear Royce tiptoeing around that like that was corny. Like, like this, that, and the third. But anyway, he picks up the mic and he starts going in. And then he starts going ham after, believe it or not, after he started booing. He actually started flowing like Joe normally flows because before that, he was kind of just like, man is in the tank, man is in the bank. It was just like, it just didn't even sound like Joe really. Like, he was sounding real robotic up there at certain points. And then he actually started getting into his little flow because he was mad. And then he started getting into his little flow, whatever, because Hollow picked up the mic and started calling him out and everything else. And this, that, third, calling him all kind of bitches, started freestyling on him. Then he got pissed off, and then that's when he started getting into his flow. And he actually sounded pretty decent when he started spitting like that. You know what I'm saying? But I had to take points off of the way he was acting towards getting booed or whatever. And be honest with you, I wasn't crazy about neither one of these thirds, but I gave it to Hollow anyway. So, yeah, that's how I had that battle, 2-1. Hollow. It wasn't the best Hollow I've seen, but it was good enough to win this battle. You know what I'm saying? And that's pretty much how I had the event. My pros and my cons about the event. Pros is anytime you get battle rap on this type of stage, it's a good thing. You know what I'm saying? It's a good thing. It was on actual pay-per-views. You can order it the same way you order the fight and everything else. It got a lot of coverage. Got a lot of coverage on Fuse TV, on Sirius Radio, everything else. Like, a lot of magazines was covering this. Like, it was a good look. It was a good look. Anytime Eminem puts his name to something of this stature right here, that's a good look because it brings extra eyes into it that normally wouldn't be watching. So that's all a good look. Let's see. I got to get to the cons. I got to get to some of the cons. Okay. The stage and all that stuff, it was all a good look, as far as, like, the way the stage was set up and everything else. It was something different. I think it took away from the battle at some points, though, because the MCs didn't seem like they knew exactly where to look when they was performing. They was kind of all over the place. They was looking up over here, then they would go all the way over here and look and everything else, and it was almost like they was surrounded and they didn't know exactly who they was performing for. And it was a little bit confusing at certain points, and a little bit awkward to see at certain points. And this, that, and the third is like it's almost better to have everybody on one side of you, like all in the front of you, so you'll know where you performing at. And this, that, and the third. So it much of a good look it was as far as like for TV and everything. I think it affected the actual battles to a small degree. Small degree. But I'm not going to kill them over that. They were trying something different. You know what I'm saying? That's cool. The crowd. It was a lot of casual fans up in there. A lot of people that really don't follow battle rap was up in there. And honestly, it took away from the noise factor. Like, when motherfuckers said a crazy bar up in there, you didn't hear that same pop that you hear at, let's say, like a big URL event. You didn't hear that same pop that you might hear at a big King of the Dot event. You didn't hear that same pop, you know what I'm saying, that with the crowd just exploding. You didn't really get to hear that. I don't know how much of that was casual fans or, again, the way the whole crowd was set up all around, and it was hard to, like, kind of pick up on the noise and everything. But, yeah, you just didn't really get the same that same, like when, that same explosion. You just didn't get that. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what to account that to or whatever the case may be, but you really didn't get that. I have no idea why K. Slade was on the stage other than maybe security. Because he didn't say one word the entire night. Sway had the mic the whole time. I'm like, why ain't K. Slade talking? Like, he's there the whole time, but he's not saying nothing. He was almost like Professor X back in motherfucking Public Enemy and shit. He was just in the background not saying shit. I was like, what's up? Can K talk too, motherfucker? And Sway. You could tell Sway ain't in the battle rap. You could tell you could tell he plays around with it. He knows a little bit about it, but he's not really a battle rap junkie like that. And it came across that way. It did. He should have done just a tad bit more, a little bit more homework before he went up in there and everything else. But you know, I ain't gonna kill Sway. He tried. It was awkward situation. The mic issues, a whole lot of mic issues. I mean, that Hollow and Joe Button's battle was ridiculous. That shit was like an hour long, and I swear 35 minutes of it was fucking with the mics trying to get them shits right. It was ridiculous. Like the mic issues was crazy. Like, and they definitely gonna have to fix that next time around. Let's see. I had one more beef. I think the judging. Again, I already mentioned how Ebro openly admits he hates battle rap. He thinks it's just a fad. He's not a fan. He's not a fan. He just said this a year ago. He just said this. And now, mind you, he ate some of those words after the Mook and Lux battle. He ate some of his words and said he was wrong and everything else. That third, but just the fact that he had that hardcore stance rubs me a little bit the wrong way that he was actually made a judge. I mean, it just goes to show they made him a judge because of who he is, not because of what he knows. Because he knows nothing about this culture, nothing at all, to validate him being up on that stage judging battles. Now, as much as I'm killing him about this, I actually agree with a lot of the shit he says, so it's not like I'm saying he actually did a bad job. I just don't understand how they came to this conclusion that he should be a judge, like, because he openly not a fan, but I can't kill him but so much because, again, I agree with most of his decisions throughout the night, oddly enough. You know what I'm saying? So, it is what it is. I'm not tripping. As a whole, I think it was a disappointment. I think I put a lot of expectations into this whole thing, like a lot of other people and everything. I was kind of hoping it came across a little bit better. I don't think it was horrible, but I do think it was a disappointment. Maybe it's my fault for raising the bar so high when I heard about this. Maybe I'm guilty about doing that, just like some of the other fans. I don't know. Maybe I don't know, but I definitely do know. I want to see another season. I want to see them do this again, because this is their first run. They're going to get some things wrong. Actually, they're going to get a lot of things wrong because it ain't no perfect science in doing what we do. Like, this is what I've been saying for years. Like, everybody talk about, people need to do this and people need to do that. And it's just not that easy. Like, people are trying, you know what I'm saying? And you're going to fuck up doing certain shit. Nobody's perfect. So, I think they can get it. I think they could get it right. I definitely think they need to tone down trying to be so Hollywood. I think they focused a little too much trying to bring in too many big names, and I think they was a little too focused on that than actually bringing the purity of the culture to the table. I think they should start embracing more people that's on the end instead of going just for the big Hollywood names and everything else, this, that, and the third, because that might bring in the casual fans, but at the end of the day, the product ain't going to be as good. So, like, they got to think what are they actual goals? Are they trying is their main goals just to bring in extra eyes, or are their main goals to put out a good product? That's a decision they need to make, because if their only goal is to bring in more eyes, then they accomplished their goal. If their goal was to have a good product, they didn't necessarily accomplish that this time around. And next time around, they're going to have to try to do things a tad bit different. Hopefully there is the next time, because again, I want to see I do want to see him succeed. I'm not hating on him one bit.